Information that is really hard to find. The cost of a car space. It's not really published anywhere. So we're going to hit that topic today and talk about the pros and cons of paying for an extra car space and what it costs. Stay tuned.
Well, good morning.
What's up?
Not a whole lot. Living the dream here in the Novak green room.
In the green room that doesn't even look green.
No, it does not.
How are you enjoying the green?
Morning?
How are you enjoying that green room, by the way?
I think it's fantastic. It's your own cozy little pocket of technology and green.
It just needs air conditioning.
That's very true. It is very warm in here.
So, Zanth, you brought this topic up today. You saw a car space for sale or sold in Bondi. Tell us more.
No. So, typical Tuesday night, I'm on my phone researching a topic to talk about on a Wednesday morning, and I came across this article that had flagged a North Bondi homeowner had knocked back an offer of $1 million for a tiny lock-up garage. Has the world actually gone mad? $1 million for a car space. So that kind of got me thinking about what is the value of a car space, and to knock back $1 million, what would have gotten that offer over the line?
Wow. And you know what? I'm going to put it out there to people today to see. It's a live show. Obviously, make comments, ask questions if you wish. But I want to put it out there to people, is that value going to continue with ride sharing, electric cars and stuff like technology and transport and stuff like that? It's really, really interesting. But to give you an idea, and I do have to let people know, if you've got, and I guess this is going to be more apparent with apartments than it's going to be with houses. Houses, it's easy to replicate a car space. Units, it's not, and you're generally in built-up areas. But what people should know is the value from 0 to 1, as opposed to 1 to 2 spaces, or 2 to 3, or 3 to 4, is vastly different. So, Xanth, you were saying when we were off air that we had a unit down DY Beach with no parking. How much was that?
So towards the end of last year, we did sell 2 incredible apartments, beautifully renovated internally, a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, both sold for around 600 to 620K, no parking, not far from the beach, not too far from those arterial roads and public transport. However, a sale price of only 600, 620K certainly would be so much more had it have had a car space associated with the title.
Would you buy without a car space?
Dependent on the area, I more than likely would lean towards a no, purely because even if you don't have a car, it's so much, you can use your car space or garage as storage. You could lease it out to somebody else in the block to get a bit of an additional income coming in. And it just does have that flexibility for you and your requirements. So I don't think I would buy without one.
So DY, for example, 0 car spaces, we're going to give it 1 car space. What's that 1 car space worth to a 1 or 2 bedroom unit?
I'd say at least 10% of the sale price.
That's a whopper. Now, to take that unit from 1 to 2 car spaces, probably not as much. What do you reckon that would add?
Maybe another 5%. I wouldn't double that and say another 10% on top. Yeah, but around that 5% mark.
All right. And now, guys, if we're moving around Sydney, for people that are watching, if you're moving around Sydney, that's probably like a medium. It's a built-up area. It is dependent on the parking availability in the street in that area. So if it's a really hard area to park and it's a big distance to walk, then it's going to be more valuable. But if there's parking's readily available, it's not going to be as expensive. Now, Sydney CBD is interesting. Car spaces, to buy a car space in Sydney CBD is about 130 to 150 grand. I know because my accountant bought a few in his superannuation. That's just a car space, not a garage. So a garage fully enclosed with its own door, car space, just whack your car in there. You can't store. But in Sydney
130K
CBD,
for a car
yeah,
space.
yeah, Sydney CBD. Yes, there are buildings in Sydney CBD that have achieved some luxury residential that have achieved $1 million for a car space.
Wowzers.
Which is there, and a Wilson car park. When you just want to whack your car in there for a month,
Yep.
you will be paying per week about 150 to 200 a week for that car space in the CBD. These are high value. And you know what, you actually, it's really hard information to find if you're actually looking, if you're thinking, oh, that's what I want, and I want an extra car space, or what's the value if I don't get that car space. Here it is today for everyone.
Yeah, gosh, knocking back $1 million for a car space, or having a car space in the city where you are so close to public transport anyway. You've got trains, buses, ferries, everything literally at your doorstep. To purchase a car space for $1 million is mind-boggling to me. Or for a property owner to knock back $1 million for a car space in North Bondi, also mind-boggling to me.
It's nuts. Now, before we go, do you think, so I hear Tesla has the technology for autonomous driving. And I hear they've built it into their cars. When I say autonomous driving, I don't mean you're in the vehicle. I mean the thing can drive itself. Now, I was in LA recently where there was I think it was a Google car, and it had these cameras all over it, and I tried to get in one, but basically this thing just pulls up with no driver.
Yep.
It knows where you're going because you've entered it in, much like Uber. It takes you it safely, arguably safer than an actual driver, and then drops off and off it goes all day long, 24 hours a day. Is that going to change the value of a car space?
Oh, interesting question. Is that the way the future's going? Are we all going to have autonomous cars and not need to drive?
Well, it's expensive. You're fueling the car, you're insuring the car, you're buying the car, cost of the car, interest, whatever, on the car. It's an expensive sport to get in the car, and it sits around most of the time and does nothing, the car.
Yeah.
So, right. So if you're just getting the ride share.
It's all dependent on you and your lifestyle, really. I mean, I need my car for work. We work in real estate. We need to go from property to property, appointment to appointment. It would be highly unlikely that we would use this ride-sharing technology day in, day out. If, however, I worked in the city, I lived close to public transport, and it would just be a matter of catching the bus into the city and my car just sits there day in, day out doing nothing, then potentially the ride-sharing would be the route for me, or these Google autonomous cars.
Or there's the go-get vehicles that sit outside that people share.
There's really a lot coming to the market that's a disruptor to the car manufacturing industry, kind of really questioning that status quo. Yeah, you don't even really need a car now, just like you said.
Interesting where it's going to go. So, Zanthany, thanks for today. In summary, what we've spoken about today is in a regular burb, and we take DUIs as regular for a lot of sort of Metro Sydney. You're paying about 70 grand for a car space, 50 grand for a car space, 0 to 1. If you're going to get 2 car spaces, so you want another one in addition to the one you got, it's going to cost you around 35, 45 grand for an extra car space. and the future of car space is interesting. $1 million for a car space in the city, as much as that, from 130 up to $1 million, depending on the building that you're in. Renting a car space, where we are, to rent a car space, about $35 a year DY. So that's probably the average price for Sydney.
A week.
A week.
A week. That's not a bad
Good
cost to wear, really.
And one thing I will also mention before we go is it legal with strata to swap and change car spaces? Very hard. So normally these car spaces have their own strata plan attached to them, and sometimes in the minutes of the meeting it says, in the body corporate, it says that they can only be transferred internally in the building, and they can't be transferred externally. So interesting stuff.
Very interesting.
Have
Thank
a
you
great
for
day.
your words of wisdom and insight. Yes, have a fantastic day, everyone. It's great to be back on air with Mr. Novak himself.
Hey, 2024, giddy up.
Yeah, let's seize
All
this
right.
year. Bye, guys.
Take care, right? Yeah.